purchased. Okay.
Good morning.
Member. Good morning.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's just backtrack.
Earlier,
Every man and woman whose heart has been moved to provide satisfaction for their Creator should contribute the first of all fruits of their home, which they purchase, grain, wine, oil, and all household items, a portion for God by giving it to those who toil in Torah, or to the worthy poor. The virtue of charity, which is given in the form of household items that provide immediate benefit, is well known. That's from Ta'anit. This is a replica of the mitzvah of the first fruits and will bestow blessing upon one's storehouses.
So he's has a very interesting idea over here that we might have thought that, oh, we don't have a Beis Hamikdash today, unfortunately. We can't do the mitzvah of Bikurim. So we're missing the spiritual koach and the or and everything of that mitzvah. So he brings from the Gemara that no, somebody who gives a gift to a Torah scholar is considered like somebody who has offered up Bikurim in the Beis Hamikdash. What exactly is the similarity? The idea of the mitzvah Bikurim is that, as I understand it, that we have all of these, the farmer, he does such hard work in the field, and now he sees the fruits of his hard labors. And so Baruch Hashem, his great labor and his effort and his agricultural acumen was what produced all of this great yield over here that he has in his field. Wrong. Comes along the mitzvah Bikurim to say, give a portion of it to take the first one, which is the most precious. Your first fruits are the most precious the person has, and take them and bring them to the Beis Hamikdash and give them to Hashem. What is that? What is that supposed to do? So that is telling us that, oh, who is the one who really produced this great yield? It wasn't my great effort. It wasn't my agricultural acumen. It was the chesed of Hashem. Hashem produced it. And my giving is a recognition of that. I'm saying to Hashem, here's your fruit that you grew on my field. And I'm thanking you because you're allowing me to keep all of this fruit that you grew for me. Okay. So according to that, the idea of giving a gift to a Torah scholar is really very comparable if you think about it, because if a person feels, well, look, if he wants to have a gift, if he wants to have a nice thing, let him work for it. Why should I give him anything? I worked hard for it. It's mine. What do I have to give him anything for? The only reason that he's giving it to him is because he recognizes that this is a gift from Hashem, and Hashem says, I gave you a gift. I want you to do the same thing that I do. Also you give a gift. So give the Torah scholar a gift. He's the he's supposed to speak the representative of giving it like to the Beis HaMikdash, giving it to Hashem. Somebody he's going to use it for Torah. He's an embodiment of Torah, so he'll use it for Torah. So I'm giving it to Torah. That's like giving it to the Beis HaMikdash. So therefore, he follows through and says that this is what every man and woman, he says over here. He makes a point of saying a woman also can do this mitzvah. I'm wondering whether women are obligated in the mitzvah of Bikurim. Let's say they own a field. Would they be
It's not a
obligated
time, see?
of Bikurim?
It's not a time.
It's a time-bound mitzvah.
No.
Um,
Or is it?
There is actually the Mishnah in Bikurim does mention there's the time for that the mitzvah is done from right. It goes according to the seasons. Well, maybe that's why he's making a point of saying even a woman could do this mitzvah and fulfill this idea. Because probably a woman could also do the mitzvah Bikurim. Maybe she's not commanded in it. Because it's a positive time-bound mitzvah. But we hold that a woman could shake a lulav. She can even make a bracha, even though it's a time-bound mitzvah that she's not commanded in. So over here, I think he's pointing out that this is something that not only men who would, technically speaking, would be obligated in the mitzvah Bikurim Deraisa to bring to the Beis HaMikdash, but women could also do this just as well as a man. So maybe that's the reason why he points out over here, men and women could do this. And this shows that they have that their heart is pained by the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, and they really want to be able to fulfill this mitzvah as much as they could. So they do a mitzvah which is what he calls a replica or a facsimile. And I looked I was curious to see in the Hebrew what the word he uses. He says it's a dugma. A dugma. It's akin to. It's in that family of the mitzvah of Bikurim, so to speak. That same thing. Okay. Very good. That's what he says. This is a replica of the mitzvah of the first fruits, and therefore it will bestow blessing upon one's storehouses. So, in the merit of the charity which is given to those who toil in Torah, or the other poor people who are also worthy. Not only people who toil in Torah are not the only persons who are worthy, but there are other people that are also worthy, and they are in need of the gift, and so to give them would be a replica of this mitzvah of Bikurim, and they would get the blessing of that mitzvah upon their storehouses. Okay, great. It's a very amazing idea. By the way, also, just to put in a plug for saying Korbanos, if you get to shul early enough, or even if you don't get to shul, if you don't go to shul at all, but you could, that makes it even better, because then you're not tied to the requirements of the congregation. You could say everything at your own pace. So say the parsha of Tamid, say the parsha of Ketoris, These are the avodas of the Beis Hamikdash that was done every day on a constant basis. They both have that great mila of being tamid, and that's avodas Hashem. The greatness of avodas Hashem is the greatest mila is that it's something that's done tamid. It's day in, day out. It's a constant avoda. And there's a great, certainly, because the Gemara says that somebody who really, the saying of it is not just the idea, but it's really the saying of it is supposed to lead to the learning of it. Because naturally, somebody who says something 3,000 times or 10,000 times, after the 5,000th time, he says to himself, you know what? I should really know what it is that these words are that I'm saying over here. Because otherwise I'm just like a robot. And nobody wants to be a robot. Although robots are very popular today, actually, I was told. Big businesses on robots. But anyway, that's something else. So the more we have a connection to these mitzvahs, even though we can't perform them in the Beis Hamikdash, we say them and we learn about them. The Gemara says it's reckoned as though we did that service, which is even a greater mila, especially for those of us not like Meir, who are not able to do the avoda at all in the Beis Hamikdash. So only Kohanim could do that. It's an avoda of bringing the korban tummy, and the ketores as well. Okay, so maybe one day we'll do that. We'll learn up the sugya of the korban tamid and the sugya of the haktorah, of the ketores, and that'll make it much easier for us to want to say those things in the section of the korbanos before we start the Psuga de Zimra. Okay. Next paragraph, included in the mitzvah. 119, we go to Roy. Please.
Included in the mitzvah of the first fruits is that when a person wants to divide his sons so that some of them or only one of them will have his portion among those that sit in the Beit Midrash, and some of them or one of them will engage in business in order to support his brothers who are devoted to Torah study, he should choose to make every effort that his firstborn be dedicated to Hashem. A scriptural allusion to this is in Shemos 13:2, dedicate unto me all the firstborn. If one of the younger brothers is sharper, brighter, and quicker and the firstborn son is not capable of becoming a Torah scholar, what should one do? Good will come in any case. Nevertheless, the father should make every effort that his firstborn son should become the Torah scholar. Besides the fact that it is fitting to dedicate to God the first of everything, there is another good reason. If his younger brother will be the Torah scholar, he'll be more respected than his older brother. In addition, the older brother will be obliged to show respect for his younger brother, who is a Torah scholar. Jealousy is harsh as the grave, for it brings a man to animosity and competition. However, when the firstborn is the Torah scholar, everything is in its proper place, just as the ruby, sapphire, and diamond. Each man will assume his position in peace.
Wow. Well, that's not what happened with the Shvatim. Reuben was the Bechor, and he lost all the privileges of the Bechor. And Klal Yisrael turned out okay. But all right. Actually, the Reuben was the one who was the one that told the other brothers not to be jealous of Joseph, and he was the one that wanted to save him. Anyway, but all that notwithstanding, the view of the Pele Yoetz is certainly understood. We all understand what he's saying, I think.
What's the reference to these ruby, sapphire, and diamond?
Oh, where does it say about rubies, sapphire, and diamond?
Yeah, what's that refer to? That doesn't refer to the I don't know.
So, well, I mean, right? He's saying that the natural teva and even the halacha, I think, says that the firstborn, he's the one that's accorded the kavod. He's the one that's supposed to be respected the most. There's even a halacha in regard to the halachas of kibbud av v'em, that not only is one supposed to give honor to his father and his mother, but it's also brought in the halacha over there by kibbud av v'em that there is a special position that the Bechor has, the firstborn son. He has a special position in the family. Why is that? I guess that's he's the first one. The first one is the first one has a certain preeminence because he's the first one. For that reason alone. And so therefore he's always the older, the more presumably the more knowledgeable, the more experienced, the more this, the more that. So when you have a second or a third or a fourth son who's really much better than him in all areas, it creates a bit of a tension. It creates a bit of a tension, he says. And so to alleviate that tension, it's best that the firstborn should be the one who is at least, if not more, than the other sons. And so to answer your question, so that's what he says over here about Shabachor hu Talmud Chacham, when the firstborn son is a Talmud Chacham. So that's so we're combining the chashivas of being the firstborn with the chashivas of being the Torah scholar in the family. Yavo hakol al nachon. So then everything is assuming its proper place. And then you're asking, well, what does it have to do? Kenofech, sapir v'yahalom v'ish amakomo yavo b'shalom. Kenofech, sapir v'yahalom. Oh, those are three different. So you want to? Yeah. He doesn't. In the Hebrew, there's no citation to any Gemara or any Chazal about these three different stones.
I think
believe they all are in the. I believe they're all in the on the Choshen. I think the three of them are all of the. There are three of the 12 that are in the Choshen that the Kohen Gadol wears.
But we always seem to say ruby, sapphire, and diamond. We don't say the diamond, sapphire, and ruby, or sapphire, ruby, and diamond. do we usually say ruby, sapphire, and diamond?
Ruby, sapphire.
Yeah, it's interesting that I mean, at least today, the diamond is more valuable than the other two.
Yeah.
What did you mean? The order is not the right order?
No, the order might be correct. That's why he puts it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I'm not, you're saying that he certainly must have taken this no fich sapir v'yalom is from some place. Maybe that's the oh yeah, maybe they're, you have to take a look. Maybe all of them are on the same row of the breastplate of the choshen of the Kohen Gadol. Maybe Meir knows. Maybe Meir would probably know about the location of all the stones on the breastplate.
Yeah. But there are
Well-
many different interpretations. There's many different ideas of the order.
Well, I mean, if you go across, you start on the upper right hand corner is I believe is that's the Bechor, that's Reuven, and then you go across, then you go with the second line, the third line.
But then there are other stones. But what's it called? The what he wears across his forehead.
That's the tzitz.
Sits right.
Tzitz hazahav. It says Kodesh Lashem. It's made out of pure gold.
Right. So there's nothing, no jewelry, no ruby, sapphire, or diamond associated with the tzitz.
No. He wears that just under his tefillin. That's it. Okay. So that's how I understand it, because those have a proper place on the choshen. It's interesting because the shvatim, they all have their proper place on the choshen, and that's what happened with Yosef. We're going to see in the few following parshas. The Chazal say, I believe that's what Chazal that Yosef saw a vision of his father by the mice of Potiphar, Isha's Potiphar, that he was seduced and he refused and he ran away. We said about that the other day, and that's what they said is what's going to be with the stone of Yosef on the Choshen. So it's not fitting. It's not fitting that it be there if he's going to be with this Isha's Potiphar. So he fled. Okay. That's the proper place. Each man will assume his position in peace. Okay. Very good. Yasher koyach. That's Bikurim. We did it. And now we go to let's see, what is this word?
Roar? What's that mean?
Actually, in my edition, it says Beirurim.
Oh, plural. Well, that's the translation we have. Arbitration.
Arbitrations.
I thought bror meant clear.
that's exactly what an arbitration is, to clarify what happened over here, and let's try to allocate the proper rights and obligations to the two parties.
Yep, you're right, Lou. Clear.
That's what a mishpat, that's what a judgment is supposed to do.
Mhm.
And this is also this is exactly the same word when you get a suggestion for your child, you do berurim on the other family's child, because you want to clarify if this is a serious suggestion to make a shidduch. So you do your research and you do your investigations, and those investigations and research are called berurim. Okay, so and we call upon Lou to start off the berurim.
It is good to arbitrate between a man and his fellow, especially in a place where there is no appointed judge. Even where there is an appointed judge, if the case is extremely difficult, it is better that they arbitrate. Each litigant chooses one or two judges, and together they choose another judge. This way, the judgment will surely have integrity, for each side seeks its own merit, and the mutual judge will decide between them. It is proper that the judges not pursue vain and futile claims on behalf of the one who chose them, and that they not gratuitously maintain their position. This alone will be their fame and glory. They should admit the truth and judge righteously. They will demonstrate their rectitude by not showing favoritism to their client. Even though he is beloved unto them, the truth is loved even more. Even if they stand behind their own judgment and the verdict was anyway guilty against the one who chose them, due to the decision of the mutually agreed judge, it is prohibited to reveal to their client, I voted in favor of your vindication, but what could I do? The majority voted against me. One who does this violates, you shall not go about as a talebearer among your people, as interpreted by our sages. Therefore, in all kinds of organizational meetings, whether of the sages of the city, the leaders of the city, arbitration, etc., it is fitting for anyone in the minority to reverse his decision and say that the litigant is guilty. For this was our final and rightful decision. As such, the convicted party will accept the judgment graciously. He will not reject the decision or come to have any suspicion, since he sees that even the judges he chose voted against him. He will surely say that truth has won out. A person from whom the court has taken his garment as remuneration for debt or damage should rejoice. Since their judgment is true, he has lost nothing. They have only removed stolen property from his possession. Each man will assume his place in peace. So is he saying that you should lie, that if you voted in the minority and somebody asks you, how did you vote? You should say, I voted the majority?
No, he's not saying to lie.
So what's he saying when he says he should change his decision, reverse his decision?
What I understand him to be saying is that he should what's the word in English? He should be machnia himself to the. He should be self-effacing and act with humility and say to himself, well, if the other two voted not like me, it must be that really they are right and I'm not right. So therefore, I should admit that that I did not judge the case correctly, and therefore I should reverse my position and go to say that in fact I agree 100% with my colleagues. That's the way he goes about. He's not lying. He's being humble. He's being self-effacing. He's admitting that he's probably one that's wrong because the other two say not like him. And this, what he says over here, is an amazing thing. He says that, you know what's going to happen now? The person the decision was against him, the judgment was against him. The person's going to say, wow, even the judge that I picked, he voted against me. That must be that the other two are really, that must be that the other two are really right. Because they all say, even the one that I chose, he went against me. So it must be that this is the right decision. I really have to admit that this was the right decision. And that will cause a respect for the judgment. And there won't be any machlekes about the judgment. And they'll accept the judgment. They'll accept the authority of the judgment. Because I was thinking, why is it that this is the system of doing things? Wouldn't it be better to just have a pool of judges and I don't know, the judicial body of the city, whatever, the elders, whoever it is, they appoint the judges and they come and they judge the case if somebody wants to have a case. Why is it that the litigants are choosing? But if you have a situation like that, you wouldn't have this feature. He'll just say, none of them like me. They're all wrong. They don't really understand me. They're against me. They don't know me. They don't respect me. They didn't get it. But like this, even if the one that he chose votes against him, really, he should admit that it must be that they're right.
But he didn't vote against him. We said he voted for him. Now he's being self-effacing and he's saying, I agree with the other guys, but that doesn't change how he voted.
Why is he changing? If he really believes that the guy that chose him is correct, so why is he changing his position?
Because he's being self-defacing.
What does that mean?
He's saying, like you said, he's saying the other two know more than me, and I must be wrong. But that doesn't change the fact that he voted.
That's like, but at the end of the day, he's agreeing that the decision is that the guy that picked him is chayav. He's the one who's the guilty party.
Right, but he can't say I voted that way. He can say I think that way, but he can't say I voted that way.
He does vote that way. That's the way he holds. See, now it's been revealed to him that he made a mistake when he originally voted the other way. But this is the way that he voted.
It says he's in the minority.
No, it's not a charade that he's doing over here. This is not a charade. This is not a Purim spiel. He's doing this because he really believes that this is so. It's like you take a test. You take a test, and you got 10 questions on the test, and let's say you get all of them. You get all of them right. No, you get one of them wrong. So when you see the answers, and you see, oh, I made a mistake on this one. So now I'm gonna mark off my exam like this, according to the correction. Okay, what he still said the wrong. He still you can't say he's not whitewashing the thing. He's just admitting that he made a mistake. He sees, yeah, it's not like I marked down over here.
So if somebody asks him, what's the answer to question 9? And he says the correct answer, no problem. But if somebody says, what did you answer to question 9? And he says the correct answer, then he's lying.
What does it say over here? What's he saying over here?
It says, therefore, in all kinds of organizational meetings, whether of the sages of the city, the leaders of the city, arbitration, etc., it is fitting for anyone in the minority to reverse his decision and to say that the litigant is guilty. For this was our final and rightful decision. So he voted in favor of the litigant. And now he's saying the litigant is guilty. No problem. But if somebody says, how did you vote? He's got to say, I voted that he was innocent.
No, he's on the contrary. He's not allowed to say that I voted for that guy. He's not allowed to say that.
So what should he do? He should lie?
Yeah, I'm gonna. It seems to me that there's he's saying exactly what's the truth. It seems to me, what are the words? He's saying it's fitting for the one in the minority to reverse his decision and say that the litigant is guilty, for this was our final and rightful decision. Is that not true? This is our final and rightful decision.
I'm not saying that's false. That's fine. I'm just saying that if he is specifically asked, how did you vote? He can't say, I voted against when he really voted for. Maybe he just has to say, I can't reveal that information.
When someone asked him how he voted,
Yeah.
he says this was the unanimous decision. This was the final decision of all the judges. Unanimous decision. This was our final decision.
He can't say unanimous.
He's saying that it was our final decision. And that is 100% correct. That is our final decision. And I emphasize the word final. When they don't have to, just like they don't have to say, I originally thought that you were right, but it doesn't matter what he originally was fighting about with the other judges, and they had their discussions. It also doesn't matter what they provisionally voted between them. What matters is what the final decision is. The final decision was a unanimous decision. That's the final decision. It would be on the contrary. It would be a lie to say that the final decision was not unanimous. That would be a lie. Because the final decision is unanimous. And we don't care about anything in the preliminaries. The preliminaries is they were fighting. They were disagreeing. They didn't see eye to eye. They were discussing it. Maybe one of them convinced the other two in the course of their deliberations. Maybe not. But what difference does it make? The only thing that makes a difference is what the final decision of the judges are. And the final decision was that the litigant is guilty.
I have to disagree based on the next sentence. As such, the convicted party will accept the judgment graciously, and he will not reject the decision or come by any suspicion, since he sees that even the judges he chose voted against him.
Right?
So if he chose me and I voted for him.
You did not vote for him. You voted against him.
Oh, I voted for him.
No, you voted against him. The final decision was that you voted against him. That's the final decision. What was the final at the end of the game, after they played 9 innings, what was the score? It was 1-0. What was it for the first 8 innings? It was 0-0. Who cares? Who cares? It makes no difference.
I'm saying the final party cares.
The final decision was that everybody voted against him. And that's what he's saying here. And the person, this was the final decision. They all voted against him. Because the person who initially voted for him, he reversed his decision. And he said, no, in fact, he is guilty. So now, what's the final decision? Unanimous against him. That's the final decision.
He's not allowed to say, as we said before, I voted with everybody else, but I don't believe what I did.
Okay, so now maybe there's a confusion over here. And maybe there's a confusion. Let's say that this third guy that voted before he voted in favor of the guy that chose him, right? And let's say that he didn't humble himself. Let's say he did not humble himself, and he maintained that he's right, and he didn't learn this Pele Yoetz, and he didn't change his decision. Okay, so now what is the final decision of the judges? 2-1. No one can say that it's a unanimous decision, because this guy never humbled himself before the other two. He never admitted that he was wrong. So the final judgment is 2-1. So now, the guy that chose him goes over to him and he says, "Tell me the truth. Did you vote for me?" What was the decision of the judges? Even in that case, where he never changed his mind, this judge. Even in that case, the Pele Yoetz says he would not be allowed to tell him the truth. The truth is that he voted for the guy that chose him. He voted to vindicate him. But he's not allowed to say that. He's not allowed to say that. Why? It's true. It's absolutely true. That's right. It's absolutely true. But it's absolutely false. You know why?
Why?
Because truth is what creates shalom and is the opposite of machlokes and is the Ratzon Hashem. And for him to say, yeah, I voted for you, but what could I do? The other two, they were the ones that voted against you. That would create sinna and machlokes, and that is not the Ratzon Hashem. That's not emes. That's not emes. What he did over there. Oh, I was only telling the truth. You were not allowed to say that. Not allowed to say that. That's not emes. Saying the emes doesn't create machlokes and sinna. But I'm talking about a case where the judge, he humbled himself before the other judges when they made their vote, and even if he was the first one to speak, even if he was the first one to voice his opinion, he said, "I hold that the person is innocent. I hold that he's not obligated, doesn't have to pay." And the other two say, "Oh, I think he has to pay. Oh, I think he's got to pay." So that's it. When he hears that is their view, he sees that he's in the minority now. It's proper for him to reverse his position and say that the litigant is guilty. And this was our final and rightful decision. Now, if he didn't actually humble himself and reverse his position, if he didn't actually do that, so we're not talking about that. We're just saying that that's the Pele Yoetz says that is what is proper for him to do. But if he does do that, we don't mean to say that it's a charade. We mean to say that he's acting with humility, and he says, "Oh, okay, it must be that I don't see it in the right way." The other two probably, they both say, "Not like me. It must be that they understand it better than me." So I'm reversing my decision. So that is his final decision. His final decision is that this person is guilty. That's not a lie. That's what he realized. Just like the guy that got the question 9 wrong on the test. He sees the answers and he says, "Oh, I said the A was the right answer, but the answer sheet says that the C is the right answer." So if you ask him what's the answer to question 9, he'll say answer C is the correct answer. He doesn't need to tell me that I made a mistake on it. Do you want to know what the correct answer is? You want to know what it is? It's C. So that's what he's saying over here. The verdict was a final verdict. We all agreed that you are guilty. This was our final decision. Okay. I see that the judges are not unanimous in their decision. Okay. All right. So we say it's already past the time. Say goodbye to Mayor. Have a great day,
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you, and everyone should have a great day.
Thank you, Mayor. You too.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.